Renfro, and they swing it out to him. Mike Renfro, convoy of blockers in front of him. First down yardage for Houston, and the fourth down gamble pays off.
Well, they're bad on third down conversions, but so far great on fourth down conversions. And once again, the threat of Earl Campbell. Look at all the guys up in the line of scrimmage. 8 of them. Stabler, a veteran quarterback who has been through lots and lots and lots back there. I'm not sure that was the play called. May have been. It may also have been an audible, but that's a big conversion for Houston in this first drive.
Ed Biles, who celebrated his 50th birthday yesterday, and he is a native of this area, went to Reading High School, also coached at Xavier of Ohio for many seasons. Stabler again to the air on first down. Slings one out, and it's dropped by Kenny Burrow.
If he'd have caught it, he'd have had yardage, too. Cornerback Ken Riley was playing back. You'll see no one in coverage. Glenn Cameron, 50, comes from the inside to the outside. It's a simple delay pattern, and that's right at the pitcher's mound here in Cincinnati, and I'm sure Mr. Burrow is very mad at himself. He doesn't miss many like that.
Perhaps not accustomed to running the short routes. He's averaging 20 yards per reception, and 5 of his 20 catches have been for scores.
Perhaps he's not used to catching the football. In 8 games, he only has 20 catches.
2nd and 10 from the 26.
Here we go again. 9 guys up there.
They pitch it back to Earl. A yard, maybe 2, and it'll be 3rd and long.
That is the way that it appears the Bengals are going to try to defense Campbell. Watch everybody get up there. Blitz by inside linebacker number 50, Glenn Cameron. You see 53 behind. They just got too many guys there to account for. They make him cut back in. And when you can make Earl Campbell run laterally, the defense is going to win.
This is something we'll be watching for all day. The Bengals putting 8-9 guys up on the line of scrimmage and occasionally blitzing those backers, Harris and Williams. Now 3rd down and 9. And they go to the shotgun. Ronnie Coleman is in the game, number 47, good pass receiver. Stabler going for Renfro. He's got it for the score. There's a flag, but evidently it's pass interference on Ken Riley, and the score will count.
Great throw. Exceptional catch by Renfro. He was covered and interfered with and still made the reception. 25 yards on the touchdown. And I believe what the Bengals are going to do is going to try to single cover Renfro and Burrows outside and still say that if they're going to win, they're going to have to throw the football. Oh, that's a fine, fine reception by Renfro.
For Renfro, his 3rd catch on this drive, his 24th reception of the season, his 1st touchdown catch. We're told that's the first time that the Oilers have scored on their first possession of a ball game this season.
They've only scored 27 points. Now, with this conversion, 34 points in the first quarter through 8 and this first quarter of the ball game.
Tony Frisch is now 16 of 16 on point after tries for the season. A look again at the game's first touchdown out of the shotgun. Stabler, a perfect strike to Renfro over Ken Riley. The drive covers 57 yards, and the Oilers lead it 7-zip.
With Valvoline motor oil, you can save up to 10 bananas every time you change your own oil and filter. Valvoline's formulated to help prevent oil breakdown and heat buildup. Even in today's high-revving engines, you're not only getting tough engine protection from a top-quality motor oil, you're saving money, too. Now, that's a Valvoline double feature you just can't afford to pass up. Valvoline, when you want to do it yourself.
I'd hold you all night, any day of the year. The way that you taste, I love you, my dear.
Whoa. Why don't you get into the groove? One sip will make it clear the bull's got more taste than beer.
Bye-bye beer. Hello, bull. The Schlitz malt liquor bowl is top, so don't say beer, say bull.
Say Schlitz malt liquor bowl.
Ken Stabler will be 36 years of age on Christmas Day. I cheated them out of 9 yards on that initial drive. 57 yards passing in the drive for Stabler as he hit on 4 of 5, and overall they covered 66 yards after the opening kickoff. David Bursard, who's averaging better than 30 yards per return himself, but not this time as he's shoved back just across the 20-yard line. Ronnie Coleman led the pursuit. Just a 9-yard return. We're seeing the top 3 kick return men in the league in Roches, Tullis, and Verser, all averaging better than 30 yards per kick. And Anderson with Alexander and Pete Johnson as his backs. Archie Griffin's time has been severely limited the past several weeks. Collinsworth, the outstanding rookie from Florida. Isaac Curtis playing hurt among the receivers. And there's the offensive line with Munoz having an all-pro caliber season, and Lapham is in place of the injured Glenn Bujnak, who's still not ready to return to action at left guard. They pitch it back to Pete Johnson. And Johnson churning upfield for a first down and then some, out near the 40-yard line of Cincinnati.
This is an offense that must stay away from the second down and long yardage situation against Houston. Houston is an exceptional second and third down and long yardage football team. Johnson 15 yards on that carry, and they have got to control the ball here in this situation.
Trump Dan Ross, who caught 7 passes, one of them for a touchdown last time the Bengals faced the Oilers, is in the lineup playing hurt at tight end.
Well, this is a game against an AFC Central Division opponent where you've got to play with pain.
In motion, Charles Alexander on 1st and 10. They give it to Johnson again, hitting left tackle and pulling his way out across the 40-yard line. Vernon Perry, the strong safety, makes the stop, and a look at the Oiler defense. Buffet, Kennard, and Doris up front. They have had 13 sacks this season, down severely from a year ago. Brazil, Bingham, Thompson, and Washington are the linebackers. Stemrick and Wilson at the corners, Perry and Reinfeldt at the safeties. Opponents have been throwing in Wilson's direction a bit of late, partly because Stemrick has been playing so well on the other side. They give the ball to Alexander. And Alexander to the 42-yard line, which is going to set up 3rd down and long.
We mentioned the players playing with pain today. Greg Bingham was in an accident on Friday night, a car accident, has a big gash in his thigh, which required several stitches, but he's out there playing, continuing a consecutive game of any Houston Oilers.
Now at 134 consecutive starts. Steve Kreider comes in the ballgame. Charles Alexander out as the Bengals go with 3 wide receivers. On 3rd down 5 from their 42, just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Oilers lead it 7-0. Anderson can't escape. Ken Kennard got him. Andy Doris missed him, but Kennard didn't.
Baker, I believe, was also in there, got the instant rush past Anthony Munoz, and Munoz has been their most consistent pass protector, and that's certainly not good news for the Bengals. They're going to have to throw the ball, and throw the ball a lot today. The last time they played Houston, Anderson threw it 52 times, even though they lost, and that's what they do best, throw, so they must protect Anderson.
Pat McInally, the leading punter in the NFL, averaging 48.7. What a season he's having. Ray Guy is next on the list, but McInally leads him by more than 3 full yards. Roaches is back there deep. Tries to drive it for the sideline. It takes a good Bengal bounce, fielded by Roaches, but he can't get away. Down at the 15.
Interesting that the man that made the tackle, as you see the exchange here between M.L. Harris and a Houston Oiler, there's no love lost between these two teams, but the guy who tackled Roaches was the 2nd leading kickoff returner in the NFL, David Verser.
Verser is playing hurt, by the way. He's got a strained knee and was questionable today, but is in the lineup both as a kick return man and playing special teams, and I imagine we might see him at wide receiver. Dick Jorgensen is the referee. Here's his first call of the day.
Personal fouls, unnecessary roughness against each team. 83 kicking team, 22 receiving team. Penalties offset, it'll be first down.
Bill Kay of the Oilers and M.L. Harris of the Bengals got into it after a 49-yard punt by McInally and a return of -3 by Roaches. So the ball will belong to the Oilers at their 14-yard line with 7:14 to play in the quarter.
To help you buy a new car, Chrysler is holding 81 sticker prices on its Omni and Horizon Misers and Customs, its Aries and Reliant K 2- and 4-door base models. 82 cars at 81 prices. And now at participating dealers, Chrysler's savings certificates save you $300 to $1,000 on most other new 81 and 82 cars and trucks, depending on model. For 82 cars at 81 prices, or savings certificates worth $300 to $1,000, come to Chrysler.
MCS, stereo for the senses. See the beauty of MCS. Touch the precision controls. Hear incredible sound. Feel it move you to a realm beyond. The 35-watt system, receiver, cassette deck with Dolby, and speakers is on sale at $499.80. Save $320. See it, touch it, hear it, feel it. MCS, stereo for the senses, only at JCPenney.
Accident or murder. It's a brand new season on Flamingo Road, premiering Tuesday.
Although the Oilers have won 6 straight from the Bengals, the overall series is tied at 12-12, and there was one tie between the teams, 31-31 back in 1969, a ball game which saw Bob Trumpy catch 3 touchdown passes from Greg Cook for the Bengals.
You're kidding.
It's in the books. Earl Campbell carries on first down and is across the 30-yard line. So evidently, you don't have to fool people when you have Earl Campbell.
You're right, 13 yards on that carry, and I did not detect any sort of 9-man front by the Bengals in trying to defense Earl Campbell there. That statistic is staggering. He has also averaged 141 yards against this football team in his years with the Houston Oilers, dating back to what was it, his first year, 1977? 78.
On first down, Stabler this time will put it in the air. He swings it out to Tim Wilson. Wilson picks up some blocks and gets out near the 40-yard line. That'll be a gain of 8. Jim LeClaire, one of the inside linebackers, makes the stop. As you look at Wilson, it's interesting to note that no Oiler besides Campbell has carried the ball more than 11 times in a game this year, and no Oiler has gained better than 30 yards in a game except for Campbell.
He is Earl Campbell's personal interferer. He blocks for him, and that's just Wilson's 3rd reception on the year thus far. Normally what he does is bang up against those defensive linemen and linebackers. There's Wilson Whitley, 75, the nose man. You beat the nose man, you beat the defense.
Second down and a short 2, and Campbell will get the first down. Earl Campbell out near the 45-yard line. This telecast presented by authority of the NFL and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the NFL is prohibited.
You would think there'd be a new and different way to present that fact.
Well, we'll let you try it next week.
This is as traditional as the national anthem.
But necessary so that we might comply with whatever rules it is we're complying with. Chicago leads Tampa Bay by a score of 3-0 at Tampa Bay in the first quarter. Give the ball to Earl. A hole opens up for him, and Earl Campbell is into Bengal territory at the 37-yard line before Ken Riley finally stops that jaunt.
18 yards on that carry by Earl Campbell, and they are not putting the 9 men on the line of scrimmage. You see Reggie Williams trying to take position. They beat the nose man. Blocked Wilson Whitley. There was nobody there to stop him. And you see the saving tackle by Ken Riley. 1st and 10, Houston.
How would you like to be Ken Riley at 183 and realize you've got to tackle Campbell one-on-one in the open field?
I'm not sure I'd want to be anybody and tackle Earl Campbell in the open field.
The Oilers with a 7-0 lead and driving for more. We've got 4.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Stabler to the air on first down. Time and a target, but it's broken up. Kenny Burrow demanding pass interference on Lewis Breeden, but he won't get it.
Interesting note on Ken Burrow. Last week in an article I read in the Pittsburgh paper, Mel Blount said that you can intimidate Ken Burrow to where he will not catch any passes. You've got to rough him up a little bit. He's a fine receiver, but he likes to be left alone. Good coverage by Louis Breeden on that particular pass.
The field judge, Dick Dolak, was right on the play, and he rules that Breeden did not interfere.
Actually, Breeden did an excellent job in waiting till the ball made contact with Burrow's body and then giving him a shot. 2nd and 10.
Stabler's had all kinds of time to throw in this first quarter. Pitch it back to Earl. 35, 34, and no more than that. A gain of 3, 3rd and 7 coming up. Bobby Kemp, their number 8 draft choice, a rookie out of Cal Fullerton, pressed into service as a starter at strong safety, makes the tackle on Campbell. Watch Wilson blocking in front of it.
That's his job. On Bo Harris, does get a good lick on him, and I'm telling you, after Earl Campbell carries the ball 37 times in a football game, I would imagine that Tim Wilson is twice as sore as the Tyler Rose is, because he's running 4 yards and making contact with somebody who's also got a head of steam. That is a real collision.
4 down linemen set now for Cincinnati on 3rd down, and we'll call it 8 yards to go. Out of the shotgun. They give it to Coleman, trying to cross him up. Nobody fooled. St. Clair there. Breeden comes up to help him. 4th down for Houston.
Bob, I do notice, too, in the Bengal defense that Jim LeClaire is out. He had problems with his knee earlier this week. Rick Rosano was in at the middle linebacker. Now, Rosano has played a couple of games in place of Jim LeClaire and done an excellent job, but LeClaire is the leading tackler on the football team, and if there's anybody in that linebacking core they need today, it's Jim LeClaire.
Now Cliff Parsley comes in to punt, and just as McAnally, the kicker for the Bengals, is first in the league with an average of 48.7. Parsley has not been as successful. He is second to last at 39.6, but on Monday night at Pittsburgh, he had 4 punts for an average of better than 50 yards, so perhaps he's getting it back together. He's angling here for the coffin corner. Instead, it goes into the end zone, touched there by an Oiler. It'll be a touchback.
Good try, though. I think Parsley kind of straightened his act out because the Houston Oilers brought in 2 free agent punters to possibly take his place. 36 yards on that punt.
So after the touchback, the Bengals take possession of the ball at their 20 with 3:31 to play first quarter.
When this young executive bought a house, he looked in towns where the commuter trains were reliable, smart. And when he bought a new car, he researched resale prices on the model he wanted, smart. And today, he's placing the biggest order for plain paper copiers in his company's history. He chose Savin, the company with an extensive product line and the largest service network in the industry. Smart.
Radio Shack makes Christmas dreams come true. Exciting fast-action games with electronic sound effects priced from $7.95 to $79.95. Like the electronic computerized arcade, the sports stadium, 2-player baseball, cosmic fireaway, space shot, and more. Your kids can play alone or with a friend. Challenging entertainment for kids 6 to 60. Hours of fascinating fun are waiting for you only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
As we move into the second half of the season, take a look at Cincinnati's schedule. After today, they go to San Diego. Los Angeles and Denver then come here. Then the Bengals are at Cleveland. Then San Francisco is here. Then they close at Pittsburgh and at Atlanta. So that loss last week when they expected to win at New Orleans may come back to haunt them. They're 5-3 now, tied with Pittsburgh for first, a game in front of the Browns and the Oilers. Anderson in the air. He's got his target, the rookie Collinsworth, for a first down. Across the 30-yard line to about the 33.
If you give Ken Anderson time to throw it, he will pick anybody apart. He beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 2 weeks ago and had an outstanding day. 13 yards on that reception by Cris Collinsworth, who was a rookie out of Florida, their second-round pick, who plays like he's been in this league for about 5 or 6 years.
Anderson, who's completing nearly 63% of his passes this year, as you can see, 3 times as many touchdowns as interceptions. To the air on first down. Swing it out to Alexander, and Charles Alexander for about 4 yards to the 37.
Excellent recovery by the Houston Oilers defense. Ted Thompson, 51, 54. Greg Bingham playing with that gash in his leg.
Ted Thompson, who is the Oilers' special teams captain, is starting at linebacker for the second game in a row in place of Darryl Hunt.
They want a little more coverage, I believe, out of Thompson. Darryl Hunt is an exceptional tackler and a good man against the run, but he doesn't cover very well.
On a field goal of 25 yards by Mick Luckhurst in the first quarter, Atlanta grabs the early lead on the Saints at 3-0. Second down, 6 from the 37. Anderson with all kinds of time over the middle, got his man into Oiler territory with Collinsworth again on the receiving end. Belted down by Mike Reinfeldt.
Collinsworth, the leading receiver of the Cincinnati Bengals, now 35 catches, 3 touchdowns, 20 yards on that one. And you see Ken Anderson looking into the sideline. He gets hand signals from Turk Schonert, the third-string quarterback, and the coaches up here in the booth. And that's what the Bengals do best, throw the football.
Spotted at the 41 of Houston. Atlanta has scored again. Wallace Francis evidently on an end run, 8 yards for a touchdown. They've got 6 minutes to play in the first quarter at the Dome. And Atlanta at 4-4 leads the 2-6 Saints 10-0. Pete Johnson for short yardage off left tackle. Johnson at 6 feet tall and 250 pounds. A handful.
Yeah, a rolling refrigerator. He, for the first time in his career, reported to training camp this year under 250, and the coaches were pleasantly pleased. He had always had problems with his weight, but Forrest Gregg said, I want to run the fullback. Son, you're my fullback. Get in shape. And he's done an excellent job so far this season.
Second down, 7 yards to go from the Houston 38. We're in the last minute and a half of the first quarter. Anderson. It's off the hands of Dan Ross and incomplete.
J.C. Wilson on the hit on Dan Ross up around the head. And I truly wish the officials would pay a little more attention to that. That can be a maiming sort of tackle attempt, and I thought that was supposed to be illegal.
Dan Ross, who caught 56 passes last year, walks off, and here's a look at it again.
Inside release, he breaks to the outside. Anderson is looking directly at him. Now watch J.C. Wilson. He goes to the head. I really thought that that was illegal, but apparently I am mistaken.
They go with the 3 wide receivers now on third down, and they need 7 yards. They've got that and then some. The leaping catch by Collinsworth. There's a flag down on the play.
I believe they have the Bengals moving prematurely.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to bring it back.
Well, maybe and maybe not. No, I think it's against Houston.
At first,
number 67, defense, decline.
Mike Stensrud, number 67, was offsides. Now watch Anderson connect with Collinsworth.
From the end zone, good pass protection. On the money, a rifle shot. And Reinfeldt on the tackle. It looks like Greco-Roman wrestling there. Vernon Perry, 32 on the takedown. We'll give him 2.
At first, the reaction of the Bengal team and the crowd indicated that the call would be against Cincinnati and negate the game. But it goes against Houston, and Pete Johnson can barely get back to the line of scrimmage at the 15-yard line. Miami is at home against Baltimore. David Woodley has scored on a 3-yard run. They've got about 2 minutes to play in the first quarter as the Dolphins grab the early lead.
Collinsworth now 3 catches, 56 yards on the afternoon.
Second-round draft choice out of Florida is very advanced for a rookie. He didn't have all that much to learn coming in.
Charlie Bell down in Florida, they were a passing offense. He was a high school quarterback coming into the college ranks, and he had a pass completion for a touchdown of 99 yards, and the next week they changed him to receiver.
Inside 40 seconds to play in the first quarter. Anderson, as Dan Ross makes a great catch inside the 5, it'll be first and goal.
The last time these two teams met, Dan Ross, that gentleman right there, 89, had 8 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. Now, Houston uses a great deal of double rotation zone. Corners up, safeties out. That means that Dan Ross, the tight end, is working on linebackers. He doesn't have great speed, but he's a tricky receiver, and as you can see, excellent hands.
That's the last play of the first quarter. When we come back to start the second period, as by the way, Ken Anderson is 5 of 6 for 71 yards thus far, the Bengals will be knocking at the door, looking to tie it up.
Zenith says, thank you, America.
You bought 50 million Zenith TVs, so we're saying thank you with instant rebates. A $25 rebate on many 19 and 25-inch System 3 models. $50 on 25-inch System 3 Space Command models, including the only TV that's also a telephone, System 3 with advanced space phone.
Zenith says, thank you, America.
For choosing Zenith quality 50 million times.
In business, you have only so much time. Don't fall behind. Make your time more productive through the Bell Network, the world's most advanced information management system. With long distance, you can call ahead for appointments, resolve service problems, sell your smallest accounts. You are already part of the network. Use it. Put our knowledge to work for you. The Information Management Network from Bell.
I can't see a thing, Stan. Did you turn on the windshield wipers? Of course I did. See? No, I can't. Obviously. We need new wipers. Obviously need new wipers.
Replace your old blades at least once a year with Anco, with specially formulated natural rubber for a smooth, clean wiping action.
That's a lot better, Ollie. Certainly is. Let's drive on. Not too fast, Ollie. Might be a school zone.
This is Byron Day in New York. The Colts have lost 7 straight. They're looking for their first win in a while, but the Dolphins are making it tough. David Woodley punches it in from 3 yards out. The Dolphins on top, 7-0 in the early going. Let's go back to Bob Costas and Bob Trumpet.
And 7-0 is our score here in Cincinnati, but might not be for much longer. Two tight end attack, M.L. Harris and Dan Ross both in there. David Verser, the rookie, first-round draft choice from Kansas, is the only wide receiver. Johnson and Alexander are the backs on 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Johnson got there. He just dragged people with him for the touchdown. Pete Johnson. Johnson, his 6th touchdown run of the 1981 season.
Good job by Charles Alexander on the lead block, and then Pete Johnson kind of veers back, and he carries Elvin Bethea at 255 pounds, his equal, carrying the ball right into the end zone for his, as you said, 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
Jim Breach hasn't missed a point after this year. And that string's intact. First play of the 2nd quarter. The Bengals have tied it up at 7-7. Back with Breach's kickoff after this.
I have found my new car. The Chrysler LeBaron Series for 1982. LeBaron combines high mileage and luxury. The coupe even has a Mark Cross interior available. And no other car has front-wheel drive, luxury, and seat 6 at so surprising a price. Lee Iacocca's dream to combine high mileage and luxury is a reality. The 1982 Chrysler LeBaron Series. They are like no other cars in America, Europe, or Japan. My new car.
The Florida Keys and Milwaukee are a whole country apart. But to these guys, they both mean something great. The Keys mean stone crab, big and fresh. And Milwaukee means beer, cold, crisp, old Milwaukee beer. And man, you can't have one without the other.
Whenever you think of the town of Milwaukee,
you think of beer.
And old Milwaukee tastes as great as its name.
You know what? Doesn't get any better than this.
Rutherford is in trouble. He's sliding. He's against the fence. The car flips upside down.
Be there when Johnny Rutherford, Bobby Unser, and Mario Andretti return in the Cart Phoenix 150, plus the World Invitational Pairs Bodybuilding Championship next Saturday.
Jim Breach to kick off for the Bengals. Again, Roaches and Tullis are deep, and this time he will kick it long, and Willie Tullis will field it on a bounce at the 2. 15, 20. Reversal of field, and this could be trouble if he gets a block, but he doesn't. Out to the 21-yard line as the Bengals covered it well. An 18-yard return for Willie Tullis, who earlier this year had a 95-yarder which won a ball game, the opener of the season at Los Angeles. Roaches had a 96-yarder which won the Bengal game back in early October in Houston.
Psychologically, if the Bengals can continue to shut down these gentlemen that return punts and kickoffs, eventually it's got to take its toll on Houston, because they practice this so much. They are very, very proud of their special teams. And in fact, Andy Borges has a thing called the Order of the Shark. And they have veteran players that they're asking to be on the special team.
First down from just across their own 20, and Earl Campbell bangs his way for about 5. Campbell, who is at 4.1 yards per carry this year, which is down from last year's average of 5.2. Earl has rushed coming into today's game for 840 yards, 3rd in the league behind Dorsett and Rogers. He has had 3 100-yard games. 2 of those 100-plus days were for better than 180.
That's his 10th carry of the first half. The last time these two teams met, he carried it 25 first half.
Second down, and we'll call it 5. They give it to him again into a stone wall, but he still gets a couple of yards.
Yeah, it's amazing, too. In New England, he was held under 100 yards. I think he had something like 86. Against Pittsburgh, he had 56. For some running backs, that's a great day. For Earl Campbell, that's terrible. And the Oilers this season are 1-4 with Campbell under 100 yards.
3rd down, and we'll say 3. On the 28-yard line of the Oilers. 13:35 to play in the first half. Well, he's got about double the total of the Bengal team right now.
Not unusual. He does that against many teams.
Even on the scoreboard at 7-7. They stopped him. They're going to have to punt. They gave it to him 3 straight times, and he couldn't get 10 yards.
Once again, at times it's hard to decipher exactly what this stat means, but the Houston Oilers are the worst team in the NFL at converting third downs to first downs. 75 Wilson Whitley on the initial contact, and then Bo Harris, and then Reggie Williams, and then several other Cincinnati Bengal defenders. Fourth down.
Now Cliff Parsley, whose last kick carried 36 yards, but he was aiming for the coffin corner on that occasion. In to try and get some full leg into this one. Oilers, by the way, 1 of 4 on third down conversions thus far.
Poor kick.
John Simmons fields it and gets across the 40-yard line. So the Bengals will be in good shape now as they go back to work offensively. Just a 35-yard kick by Cliff Parsley. 12 minutes and 31 seconds to play. Second quarter. We're tied at 7, and the ball belongs to Cincinnati.
It's lightweight. It's portable. It's virtually indestructible. You can hammer on it, saw on it, sand on it, paint on it, drive a screw on it, cut a pipe on it, clean a door on it, fix a picture on it, or a wheelbarrow, or a chair, or a bicycle. You can even have your lunch on it. The incredible Black & Decker Workmate. When America has a job to do, it reaches for Black & Decker.
This life isn't for everybody, but for me, nothing beats it. And nothing beats my skull either. I just take a little pinch and put it between my cheek and gum. Sure feels good. I think going smokeless is the only way to go. And for me, Walt Garrison, this is the only way to live. Try going smokeless with Skoal, Copenhagen, or Happy Days. A pinch is all it takes.
Next Sunday, have some fun. Join David Woodley, Nat Moore, Steve Grogan, Stanley Morgan, Jim Plunkett, Kenny Stabler, Earl Campbell, Terry Bradshaw, Richard Todd, Brian Sipe, and Craig Morton. They'll all be here, and you're invited too. Check local listings.
Good news and bad news for the rest of the AFC Central. Buffalo, on a Joe Ferguson pass of 58 yards to little Joe Cribbs, takes a 6-0 lead over Cleveland. The bad news is, for the rest of the AFC Central, that the holder fumbled the point after touchdown snap. They don't get the 7th point.
There's a good chance they might have 12 feet of snow up there in Rich Stadium.
From their 43-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Bengals. Anderson, nice catch by Isaac Curtis. Curtis playing with the broken little finger. Heavily taped, makes the catch for the 1st down.
Interesting about Isaac Curtis's broken finger, it's broken lengthwise. And I don't know how he makes this catch. Vernon Perry had decent coverage on him. You watch this. This is what you call threading the needle. There's probably a fingernail on that football that came off Vernon Perry's hand. That's how precise this game is. Yes, it is a game of inches.
For Isaac Curtis, the 19th catch of the season for him. Doesn't have a touchdown reception this year. 48 of them for his career.
He's always had excellent games against the Houston Oilers.
From the Houston 46. Give the ball to Johnson. And Johnson gets about 5 on 1st down, which will leave Anderson the liberty of selecting just about any play he wants on 2nd down.
Here's a shot at one of the biggest and best offensive linemen there is apparently in the NFL. 78 Anthony Munoz on Jesse Baker. This guy is 6'5½", 278 pounds out of USC. And all he does is cut off the pursuit angle. But a good job by the Oiler linebackers to make the stop. Johnson now 6 carries, 31 yards, and a touchdown.
Munoz's wife gave birth to a baby boy a short time ago, and 3 days after he was born, USC sent him a scholarship application. Again, they let Johnson ramble, and he's very close to the 1st down. They may spot it less than a yard short.
The Bengals are using something very, very similar to what the Houston Oilers do. They try to cut the pursuit angle off at one spot and then let Pete Johnson go sideways until he sees a hole and then cuts up into it. There's Forrest Gregg, the head coach, the man without the headset, George Sefcik, former Notre Damer. Just to his right, Bruce Coslett. Down there, the special teams and tight end coach, Turk Schonert out of Stanford on the sideline.
3rd down and less than 1, 2 tight ends, Ross and M.L. Harris. David Purser, the lone wide receiver. Clock winds down to 11 minutes to play in the 1st half. Even up at 7. That's Ross in motion. No surprise that they give it to Johnson. In fact, I'm surprised because they gave it to Alexander. Flag down on the play.
First down, it appears it was thrown rather late. I'm not holding. Cincinnati. You'll see the nose man, Kenny Kennard. Normally, if you can beat the nose man in the 34 defense, getting back off the line of scrimmage, you're going to make yards, and they did just that, but they may have done it because they grabbed a hold of him.
Here's Dick Jorgensen on the microphone.
Holding, number 89, offense, still third down.
Dan Ross, tight end, he came in motion, probably blocking the cornerback.
Baltimore has tied Miami, Trump, at 7-7 early in the second quarter. Burt Jones to Don McCauley for 5 yards to tie it up. And New Orleans is on the board on a Benny Ricardo field goal of 28 yards early in the second period. They trail Atlanta 10-3. Now it's third down and 11. 3 wide receivers, all of them stacked on the left side. Anderson stepping up in the pocket and taking off with it. But he's got to go down to save his life, and they don't have the first down.
A good job there by the Houston Oilers defense. We spoke earlier that if you get in a long yardage situation, you're playing right into Houston's hands. That may be true of all defenses now in the NFL. The Kennard on the move outside. Anderson, there's nobody to throw it to. He gets plenty of time to throw it, but good coverage by the defensive backs and linebackers. And Brazil makes sure that Anderson doesn't get the first down.
Now, if you're a punter and you want to try and put the ball out of bounds deep in your opponent's territory, this is a good spot on the field to kick it from. If you're much closer, you got to try and pooch kick. Here you can get a bit of leg into it and angle for the sideline, because McAnally is going to meet this at about his own 45.
He's not bad at this, too. He does have pretty good control of his kicks. 62 is his longest. He's had 2 inside the 20 so far.
Blair Bush snaps it back to him.
Well, they're going to take the penalty.
Purposely taking an extra 5 yards to give him even more room to air it out.
Now, he can kick the ball far enough that he can drive it to a point out of bounds, and then hopefully the ball will not hook. And I think most punters nowadays practice that in the NFL. He is, by the way, playing this season with a
offense, still fourth down.
To continue with a bad hip pointer and still averaging better than 48 yards per punt.
Just inside 10 minutes to play first half.
He appears to be angling through the near side of the field, Bob.
Roaches is the deep man. He's standing at the Houston 10, which is about where it bounces and goes out.
You saw John Simmons in motion, 25 for the Bengals. I think his attempt was to go down and try to catch the punt before it could possibly get into the end zone. 31 yards, ball dead at the 10-yard line. Houston will take over.
Time comes when you must watch your money carefully, so quality and value are a necessity. Can you find them in an American car? Absolutely. In Plymouth. Yes, Plymouth. The new Horizon Miser, built with advanced technology and front-wheel drive for the best gasoline economy of any American car. 5-passenger Horizon Miser, and not a penny more than 81. The American way to get your money's worth.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
The people in St. Louis know their beer, but as a master brewer...
Schlitzer.
Thank you. I know one taste of my Schlitz can change a lot of minds, and now more people know.
I like Schlitz better than Bud.
I'm a Miller drinker, but you have to taste Schlitz to believe it.
Mr. Sillinger, your Schlitz tastes good. It's a good tasting beer.
Here's to it.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
This is Byron Day in New York. The Bills are on the scoreboard first of their game with Cleveland. Joe Ferguson, a 58-yard touchdown pass to his man from Auburn, Joe Cribbs. The Bills lead it 6-0 in the second quarter. Let's go back to Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy.
Thanks, Byron. The Oilers take over in this tie ball game deep in their own territory. Spot the ball at the 11-yard line. 9 minutes and 49 seconds to play until halftime. Kenny Burrow goes out wide to the left. Mike Renfro to the right. The back set in the eye, and of course the tailback is Earl Campbell with Wilson in front of him to block. They give the ball to Earl. He takes it off the right side, and he bulls out to the 20-yard line.
You know, he's a running back that you just can't get one hand on and drag down. Even though he's very, very big around the waist and through the thighs, he gets great power generated out of those legs. And even when his feet are off the ground, he still is able to break tackles. He's one of those gliders, and his shoulders are always going upfield. If you don't get him with both arms around him, on his shoulders or on his chest, you're not going to stop him now. 12 carries, 65 yards.
He has led the entire NFL in rushing in each of his 3 seasons in the league. Jimmy Brown holds the record in that respect. He did it his first 5 seasons.
And no matter what they pay that guy, it's not enough.
Second down and a short 2 from the 20-yard line. Play action fake by Stabler.
Casper.
Dave Casper's got it. Upended. They may rule it a fumble. In any event, Renfro was there to pick it up.
Casper got up.
They're going to rule that no catch.
Oh.
And Trump, this is one of the most inconsistent calls in the entire NFL. A week ago, we were in Washington. Terry Metcalf had a ball in his hands. Evidently, Jorgensen's going to overrule the other official. Let's see. Let's listen to him.
Ruling is completed pass. Runner was down. First down.
The way they judge a completion now is that if he gets 2 feet down on the ground, if he's in the air, then it's counted as a completion. Watch. The catch is made. 1, 2. Well, I don't know.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's a catch.
Yeah. But still, you can see the point that the NFL league office has put these officials in. And I'm surprised that Dave Casper got up. That was a heck of a hit by Ken Riley. But nevertheless, a first down, a fumble recovery, and Houston is driving.
One official had initially ruled it incomplete. He was overruled. They swing it out to Ken Burrow. Burrow on first down. Streaks down the sideline. There's a flag flying behind him.
We got a
clip.
clip.
Crosses midfield.
Excuse me, Bob. We got a clip. The offensive guard of the Houston Oilers, I believe, number 62, John Schumacher.
They're going to walk it off against the Oilers. And as Dick Jorgensen does that, Trump, I want to go back, though, to that pass, which was ruled a reception and a fumble, and correctly so, as I understand it, under present NFL guidelines. First, Dick Jorgensen.
Illegal block above the waist, in the back, number 62, offense, still first down.
You called it perfectly, Trump. It's going to be 1st and 20, back inside the Houston 30. A week ago, we were in D.C. Terry Metcalf holds onto a ball for a microsecond. They rule it a catch and a fumble. However, one official was about to rule this no catch when Casper clearly had it much longer than Metcalf did a week ago. Casper was shaken up a bit by that hit, and little wonder why. He was really upended.
So is Ken Riley. He has come off, and the Bengals can ill afford to have someone like Ken Riley out of the lineup. Ray Griffin now at cornerback number 44.
And Griffin has just been reactivated this week. Earl Campbell, a rare pass reception. And not too much yardage, only about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 18.
Not to 17. Run this point into the ground, but the clarification on the reception rule was made, I think, a great deal because of an incident that happened to the Houston Oilers 2 years ago in Pittsburgh with the reception by Mike Renfro in the end zone. They're trying to define the rule to help receptions in the end zone, and the trouble they run into is out here in the field.
Mike St. Clair and Gary Burley are in now for Cincinnati. 4 down linemen, 2nd down, and long. And Stabler finds his target. They're very close to the first down. They're shy of it, however. Mike Holston made the catch, the rookie from Morgan State, number 84.
Now the Bengals with no pass rush whatsoever, no pressure on Stabler. You'll see Holston come down here. It's a simple hook-in pattern. He's looking for the dead spot in the zone. That is in front of Brian Hicks, number 27. 3rd and 2. So far, the Oilers 1 of 4 in 3rd down conversions today.
For Holston, just the 2nd catch of his rookie season.
He was their top pick, too, although it was the 3rd round. Would you expect Campbell to get it?
You'd be correct if that's what you were looking for, and he's got the first down in Bengal territory at the 45. Bo Harris with the stop.
Houston sitting in a passing set with only 1 running back. And they give it to Earl Campbell.
Campbell is on his way to another of those massive yardage days. He's closing in on 100 yards in the first half.
He now has 70 yards on 13 carries. Thank you very much. I agree.
Last 2 weeks held to 86 by the Patriots, and we put held in quotations. A good day for anybody else. 53 yards, 56 make it, on Monday night against the Steelers. And this time the Bengals are all over him. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. The word from the sideline on Casper, just as we expected. Merely shaken up, not seriously hurt, will be back.
I would imagine the same is true for one Ken Riley, number 13, who went to the bench for a little breather, probably to clear the cobwebs from his head. Ray Griffin, 44, in there. 2nd and 10.
6.5 minutes to play in the first half. Stabler under pressure, and it's intercepted. Glenn Cameron picked it off.
For Stabler, his 11th interception on the year. We have Burrows on isolate. Good coverage. You see Glenn Cameron coming to your picture right underneath the pattern. And you see Eddie Edwards pressures him, makes Stabler throw the ball quickly. That's exactly the way a defense is designed. Pressure from up front that results in an interception. 1st and 10 Bengals.
We left a car in a cold room at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. 5 hours later, minus 20. 8 hours later, minus 30. And it still started. The Die Hard, the battery that lives up to its name. You can count on Sears.
Takes 2 wheels to have some fun, and you need 2 more to get the job done. But what can you do with 3? Just try the Honda ATC.
11 years ago, Honda invented the ATC three-wheeler. And ever since, folks have been inventing new ways to use it.
Follow the leader, he's on a Honda.
Next Sunday, have some fun. Join David Woodley, Nat Moore, Steve Grogan, Stanley Morgan, Jim Plunkett, Kenny Stabler, Earl Campbell, Terry Bradshaw, Richard Todd, Brian Sipe, and Craig Morton. They'll all be here, and you're invited too. Check local listings.
Forrest Gregg, a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, in his 2nd year as Bengal coach after stints at Cleveland and Toronto of the CFL. Ed Biles, longtime defensive coordinator of the Oilers, now their head coach. Dick Nolan is the Houston defensive coordinator now, and he's an expert in that field, and of course has been a head coach with San Francisco and New Orleans. But he emphasizes that he's merely continuing the defense which Biles has set up over the years at Houston.
Why not?
That defense hits Archie Griffin early on that carry.
Excuse me, Bob, but why not continue it? It's been a very good defense, although this year they have given up probably more yards and points than they have in several other years. As you look at the turnover chart, and Houston is right up there at the top. That's a negative statistic.
The pass interception by Cameron a moment ago, his 1st of the year, just the 5th for the Bengals. Why such a low total?
I'll tell you in a minute. My opinion.
2nd down coming up for Kenny Anderson. He's got the 1st down with his pass to Archie Griffin. And Griffin, the 2-time Heisman winner, is across the 45-yard line. This series marks Griffin's 1st appearance of the game as Charles Alexander has taken a breather for the Bengals. Watch it again.
All right. You see from behind Ken Anderson, Griffin came out of Ohio State as a runner, turned himself into a decent receiver, but a good open field tackle by Vernon Perry. You ask me why. I believe interceptions are directly the result of pass pressure, and the Bengals don't have a lot of sacks so far this season, just 15. The other thing is they've only had the same 4 defensive backs in 2 games this season, and I believe those defensive backs each week must learn how to play the position and not pay a lot of attention to the interceptions. Greg Bingham on the tackle, Dan Ross on the reception. Sorry to go so long, Mr. Costas.
No problem. You can handle a play-by-play like that. I could sneak out for a halftime snack early.
Please don't do that to me.
4 minutes and 40 seconds to play 2nd quarter. Sellout crowd at Riverfront.
3rd this year, and it's probably the first time that Riverfront Stadium has been sold out to Cincinnati people. Normally it's Pittsburgh and Cleveland people buying up tickets to make it a sellout.
2nd down and 3 from the Houston 47. We are tied at 7 apiece. Archie Griffin gets the 1st down. Archie running well. And it takes a combination of Reinfeld and Bingham to bring him down as a flag flies.
It appears they may tack on some yardage. Maybe a face mask penalty against Houston.
tripped again, Mr. Trumpet.
Probably inadvertent. Will determined by the yardage. Yes, inadvertent. A trap up the middle.
5-yard face mask foul, number 54. Defense, first down.
Saw the trap up the middle. Blair Bush taking the noseman Kennard off, and then Dave Lapham coming across and trapping the other defensive lineman Stensrud. And Archie Griffin squirts up there. Anderson in the first half, 8 of 9, 99 yards.
4 minutes and 16 seconds remaining until intermission. 1st and 10 from the Houston 32. Anderson rolling right. Kenny cuts it in and gets out of bounds after a gain of a couple.
Something happened there. I can't believe that that's the design of the play. And Chris Collinsworth, number 80, was going down the field as the Jets jump on top of the Giants 3-0 on a field goal by Pat Leahy of 37 yards.
Miami leads Baltimore 14-7. Duriel Harris catching a 22-yard touchdown pass from David Woodley. Buffalo pads their lead to 13-0 over the Browns. Ferguson again to Joe Cribbs. Second time that's happened. This one a 15-yarder. And the Saints have come back from a 10-0 deficit to tie it at 10-10.
Wow, the Cincinnati Bengals may have given the New Orleans Saints some momentum in beating them last week 17-7.
2nd and 8 from the 30-yard line. Anderson with time, but not with a completion. Archie Griffin couldn't hold it.
Interesting, that bounced right off of Archie Griffin's face mask. You'll see 52, Robert Brazil on the coverage. He's one of the few linebackers at his size, better than 235 pounds, who can stay with the running back. Boy, he rifled that one. That should have been caught. All-pro linebacker, many, many years. One of the best there is in the business. Good active linebacker, great open field tackler, and can cover those running backs on pass routes out of the backfield.
Collinsworth and Curtis both come out wide to the left. Steve Kreider is also in as the 3rd wide receiver, and he joins them in a slot on 3rd down and 8.
Kreider wide open.
But the pass goes to M.L. Harris, who was also all alone, and M.L. Harris gets down near the 10-yard line for a Bengal first down.
20 yards on the reception by M.L. Harris. And interesting, there's Tigger. You'll see this from the defensive set. Watch Kreider, 86 coming right at you. No one is covering him. The man covering 83, M.L. Harris, fell down. It looked like a linebacker. And a good block by Chris Collinsworth, and it's a first down yardage. Excellent play. They had 2 receivers open. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see them come back to that before this game is over.
The Bengals could get a first down at about the half-inch line, but for all practical purposes, it's 1st and goal.
Wow, they have had the ball for an awful long time in this second quarter, have they not?
3:55 remaining until halftime. They give the ball to Pete Johnson, and Johnson gets a couple of very grudging yards.
No time to turn conservative here. They have gotten the ball down the field by traps up the middle and throwing the ball short, letting the receivers run with it. No time to turn conservative if you're a Bengal fan.
The Oilers took the opening kickoff, went 66 yards for a touchdown, Stabler to Renfro for the score. But since then, the Bengals have come back to tie it and now threaten to go in front for the first time.
And that basically is the way that you shut down the Oilers offense. Keep Earl Campbell off the field.
Anderson on 2nd down with time and with the receiver as a flag goes down. They rule it a touchdown, and it might be pass interference on Houston. And Dan Ross will have the score.
Holding, number 32, defense, Upine, 6 points.
That's it. It's against Vernon Perry, and Dan Ross, who was in bad shape coming into this game but started anyway, has really been a thorn in the side of the Oilers. He had a great game against them at the Astrodome, and he continues to vex them here at Riverfront.
If I would ask our director, please keep that shot. I have a comment to make at the next available moment. Excellent job by Dan Ross.
And now Jim Breach, who, as we mentioned earlier, has been perfect on his conversion tries this year, looks for the 14th point. Right down the pipe. The clock stops with 3 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the second quarter. And the Bengals have turned a 7-0 deficit into a 14-7 lead.
The criteria for a compact copier of a different sort. It's here. The Canon NP210. A fixed copy board saves space. 21 letter-size copies a minute saves time. copies up to ledger size. The Canon NP210 even has its own optional mini sorter. The economical Canon NP210, a compact copier of a different sort. Call toll-free for information or contact your authorized Canon dealer.
Off the white-bellied jet that lands me to a hotel that understands me. I've got business and I'm on the road again. Feeling the pressure mounting on me, counting the people counting on me. Competition like I can't remember when. And you can reach me at the Hilton. Just call me at the Hilton and we'll get down to your business right away.
When American business hits the road, American business stops at Hilton, America's business address.
Linda Carter in a world premiere movie, Born to be Sold.
There's a whole network out there, baby importers.
She risks her life to save the babies that are born to be sold. Monday.
Dan Ross, who has caught 2 passes today, 34 for the season, and the touchdown grab was his 4th scoring reception of 1981. Breach elects to kick it short, but it bounces to one of those dangerous men, Willie Tullis. And Tullis is hemmed in and down. Boy, the Bengals have done a good job of shutting Roaches and Tullis down in the first half. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KXAS-TV, Channel 5, Fort Worth, Dallas.
As you watched Willie Tullis go off, here's a look at that last play, the scoring play, Trump.
All right, focus on this. At the top right of the screen, you'll see Ross. He comes off the line of scrimmage, and every receiver in this situation expects contact. But Ross, being a veteran, uses the contact. You see him, he leans against Vernon Perry. Then at the point where he gets to the end zone, he breaks away from him. Excellent play for you young kids out there, and even in college, that's a great example of how you can use contact off the line of scrimmage to your advantage.
Stabler will go to the air as we move inside 3 minutes to play. Kenny avoiding the rush and slinging one out for the completion. A flag goes down. The rookie Holston really paid for that catch as Brian Hicks whacked him, and Bobby Kent was over there too.
They've got roughing the passer on 79, I believe. Ross Browner. You'll see Ken Stabler come out of the pocket, and we can't quite pick it up. But I just wish that they would protect the rest of the players on the field as much as they protect the quarterback in this situation.
Roughing the passer, blow to the head, number 79, defense, first down.
Evidently, Trump, it was because it was a blow to the head rather than the lateness of the hit, which indicated that pass interference was in order, or rather that roughing the passer was in order.
I'll grant you that, but there are instances where receivers downfield get abused just as much as Ken Stabler gets abused in this situation. Now, Ross Browner's got his hands up. He hits him on the back of the head, but that protection should come for everybody on the field.
From the 43, Casper makes the catch. And Casper is quickly into Bengal territory at the 42-yard line of Cincinnati. And as he's knocked out of bounds, we still have 2 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the half.
15 yards on the catch. And for years, I believe as football fans and former players and broadcasters, we have watched Ken Stabler in the last 2 minutes of a half or a game pick people apart. He used to do it with the likes of Warren Wells and Fred Biletnikoff and Dave Casper now in Houston. This is when Ken Stabler is at his best.
Stabler 10 of 13, as you saw in the first half. His counterpart Anderson 10 of 12. First down from the 42-yard line. Adger Armstrong with his initial carry of the day. And Armstrong has perhaps 4 yards in the grasp of Bo Harris, number 53.
And Adger Armstrong is the better receiving fullback between, or running back between Earl Campbell and Adger Armstrong. Campbell out of there.
Let's give Armstrong 5 yards and call it second down 5. Burrow and Renfro both go to the left, and Holston is out to the right. The tight end Casper is also on the right side. 3 wide receivers, single running back, only Armstrong. And Stabler wants to go up top. Off the hands of Burrow and incomplete.
Wow.
He had Ray Griffin turned around and had a good crack at the ball but couldn't hold it.
Now, one of the values of having Ken Burrow in your offense is that he's 6'3" tall, and he's going against a guy in Ray Griffin who is just stretching it at 5'10", and you'll see the leaping ability of Ken Burrow. Look at how high up he is. The Bengals dodge a bullet.
We have reached the 2-minute warning. When we come back, Stabler will face 3rd and 5.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Down here in Texas, people know a good beer, and many choose to taste of my Schlitz. Just one glass will tell a lot of beer drinkers what I've known all along. You just can't buy a better tasting beer than Schlitz.
What do I really think? I think Schlitz tastes better than Miller. Schlitz tastes really smooth.
Mr. Sellinger, your Schlitz tastes good. It really does.
I'm glad you like it.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
I have found my new car, the Chrysler LeBaron series for 1982. LeBaron combines high mileage and luxury. The coupe even has a Mark Ross interior available. And no other car has front-wheel drive, luxury, and seat 6 at so surprising a price. Lee Iacocca's dream to combine high mileage and luxury is a reality. The 1982 Chrysler LeBaron series, they are like no other cars in America, Europe, or Japan. My new car.
That is the knee of Jim LeClaire, starting middle linebacker of the Cincinnati Bengals, 55, a knee that he slightly injured on Thursday of this week and has been experiencing some problems all season long. Apparently he will not play. Rick Rosano, 51, as replacement. There's Earl Campbell taking a rest. Obviously the Oilers choose to throw it here, and Adger Armstrong, 39, the better receiver of the two.
Alston to the left, both Burrow and Renfro to the right. The Oilers are 2 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. They need 5 yards here. Down at the line of scrimmage and nearly intercepted. Mike St. Clair had a crack at it after it was knocked up in the air.
I could not see who got his hand up in the air, but that's exactly what defensive coaches want their linemen to do. Make penetration and get your hands up in the air. 79, Ross Browner on Leon Gray. Puts the ball up in the air for a jump ball, and St. Clair misses the rebound attempt. 4th down, they're going to go for it.
Just as they did in the first quarter. On that occasion, they made it. 4th and 5. There's a look at Tony Frisch, and they do not call on him. It works again.
Not enough, though.
I think they've got it. Let's see where they spot it.
It's going to be very, very close. I don't think they got the first down. If they did, they got it by... No, they didn't get it.
Not a very charitable spot. I guess they're not even going to measure. I thought they had enough, Trump.
This is always a point of contention on a mark like this, and it is totally at the discretion of the referees. You can see Eddie Biles does not agree with the spot.
Now they're going to bring the chains out. Bengals are already rejoicing. Stop them. Stop them entirely on the basis of where they put it down, Trump.
Yeah, you're right. They may come back and look at that play and say it was a big one. And I repeat once again, that is totally at the discretion of the umpires, and at times, or the side judge and the back judge, and at times they are 12 and 15 yards away from the placement. And you can understand a head coach being very, very upset with that placement. I think Eddie's got a good complaint there.
And he voices it as he paces the sideline. 3 wide receiver attack now for the Bengals, who may want more with 1:44 remaining. They'll go right to the air, leading 14-7. Anderson completes it to Curtis, who's out of bounds, and that took 5 seconds. 1:39 left.
Timing pass, almost at times unstoppable. The ball is thrown before the receiver turns his head.
In the battle for Big Apple bragging rights, Pat Leahy has connected again, this time from 38 yards out. They've got 5 minutes to play in the half, and the Jets lead the Giants at the Meadowlands 6-0. Atlanta is in front of New Orleans 17-10. They've got about 7 minutes to play in the second quarter in that one. And Tampa Bay, playing at home, has the lead now on the Bears, 10-3. Jimmy Giles, an 81-yard touchdown pass from Doug Williams. About 4 minutes to play in the half there. Anderson unloads just before he's hit, but it's incomplete.
That was close. That was close. Greg Bingham was almost there for the interception.
A reminder that all the scores with highlights coming up at halftime as we check with NFL 81.
Collinsworth off the line of scrimmage. Good acceleration. There you see Bingham. And Anderson had to throw it outside to avoid the interception.
A Minute 34 remaining. Second down 10 for the Bengals at their 44-yard line. They lead it by a score of 14-7. The Bengals are 5-3. The Oilers are 4-4 in the tight AFC Central race. Houston has beaten the Bengals 6 times in a row over 3 years. They swing it out to Pete Johnson. And Johnson vaults over a tackler, gets the first down, and just as importantly is out of bounds.
The Oilers with a 4-man defensive line rush. No middle linebacker, 5 defensive backs. And they're taking advantage of the defense, just jumping it off in the flat. And those linebackers are going to drop very deep, protect the yardage behind them, not be so concerned with the yardage in front of them. And you can pick up a lot of first downs in the final minute and 26 seconds of a half or a game.
From the Houston 45, Collinsworth, the rookie, comes out wide to the left. Isaac Curtis is in a slot left. Steve Kreider moves out to the right side. They go with a lone running back. That's Pete Johnson. And they give it to him. And Johnson, after breaking one tackle and then another, is across the 35 before he is gang tackled out of bounds at the 33.
Amazing.
And it looks like they have a first down.
Now, I'll tell you the secret of that play. Defensive coaches will instruct their defensive linemen that once they see the quarterback pass any running back, then it's pass. That's exactly what Ken Anderson did. He went behind Pete Johnson, handed the ball forward. This was a great job by Pete Johnson, realizing that inches are not important here, seconds are. And he drags everybody but Eddie Biles out of bounds.
First and 10, the ball just outside the 33, and plenty of time, a minute 15. Both clubs have all 3 of their timeouts remaining in this first half. Johnson has carried 9 times for 50 yards.
Blitz.
Avoiding the blitz with a little swing pass to Johnson, and Pete Johnson continues to ramble. Another Bengal first down. Well, they're looking at it now before they move the chains. Johnson has accounted for 3 Bengal first downs in a row. We've got a minute 8 left, and we'll be right back.
United Way, information referral. May I help you?
That's the beginning, that first call. And this is where people who need help can get in touch with the agencies and professional services that can help.
Hi, I'm Tim Wilson of Houston Oilers, and this is United Way Information Referral Program.
As a United Way volunteer, Tim Wilson knows how important information and referral can be. And at the United Way supported Information and Referral Agency, he's seen it work. This young boy involved in drugs and his parents both need help. Help that can mean the difference between life or death to someone. But where do they turn? Who will help?
Come on, people, get off my case.
They're like thousands who call United Way supported information and referral agencies every day, helping people find answers. Thanks to them, and
thanks to you, it works for all of us, United Way.
I want it made clear that Costas was not spelled with a K.
2 weeks ago, we had a sign flying over Riverfront Stadium, and we were here, and one of the Bengal cheerleaders was given a proposal just like that.
Was it accepted?
Yes, it was. Cheryl, will you marry me, or something to that effect.
Johnson got the first down. They measured during the timeout. From the 23, Anderson unloads for the end zone, and all kinds of flags all over the place. We must remind you that the preceding announcement just before the return to action was furnished as a public service by the National Football League.
Holding Houston. The Oilers are to the point where they've really got to come up with a lot of blitzes. I believe the contact 33, J.C. Wilson, on number 80, Cris Collinsworth.
Holding number 33, defense, first down.
Well, the contact you saw there was between Collinsworth and Carter Hartwig, the nickelback, but it was J.C. Wilson who was the guilty party on the play, and the ball is spotted at the 18-yard line. where it's 1st and 10 for the Bengals, who have 2 timeouts remaining. 1:02 to play in the first half. And Anderson has been nearly flawless. To the sideline. Can't find Isaac Curtis. 2nd down coming up. 58 seconds left.
It's a tough part of the field to get the ball in the end zone. The 18-yard line. Now you can use the end zone as another defensive back in there, the in line of the end zone. But they've got to put the ball in the end zone, not go for the out pattern. Try to get maybe Dan Ross down the middle, 89.
In case you're wondering about the leg of Jim Breach, he is 11 of 17 for the year, 6 of 8 between 20 and 29 yards, 1 of 2 between 30 and 39.
4-man rush by Houston, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs.
Anderson's pass is nowhere near anybody except Robert Brazil. It'll be 3rd down.
Up off his Tukas, a little pressure by the Houston Oilers. I repeat, in this situation, Houston likes that double rotation zone, corners up, safeties out. I believe you have to look for somebody down the middle. And at least give it a try. That's Forrest Gregg with a headset on. Plays are coming from Lindy Infante, the offensive coordinator.
3rd down 10 with 52 seconds left. A look over the shoulder of nose tackle Ken Kennard. The Bengals are 2 of 4 on 3rd down conversions. Make it 3 of 5. And this is good for the touchdown as Collinsworth skips his way into the end zone. Cris Collinsworth, touchdown catch number 4 of his rookie season.
Taking advantage of the linebacker coverage, too. You see Reinfeldt 37. Collinsworth comes underneath the coverage. And you can see there's no linebacker there. There's no coverage man there. The corners go out, the safeties go back. And that's where the man is open. Up underneath the coverage and in the middle of the field.
A moment ago, the Oilers were working a 2-minute drill of their own looking for the tying score. They were thwarted, and the Bengals, not satisfied with a 14-7 lead, quickly patched together a drive of their own. They lead 27. Breach looks to make it 21, and he does. 45 seconds to play in the first half. 21-7 Bengals. Watch it again. Anderson to Collinsworth.
You can't really see the coverage here, but it is linebacker on wide receiver, and Collinsworth breaks up underneath. And there's nobody there. Bingham went to the outside. And then a great job running by Collinsworth. And this tackle by Carter Hartwig, and he's in the end zone for 6 points. That is not something that Eddie Biles can be very happy about. It resulted from the stoppage of the Houston Oilers, 4th down and about 11 yards to go, and the Bengals made it look very easy against what I thought was a very, very good defense by the Houston Oilers.
You've had this youngster Collinsworth on your radio show here in Cincinnati. You tell me he's quite an outgoing fella.
Exceptional. He has great presence for a kid who is just 9 weeks out of college at football, and runs patterns like a veteran, knows what he's doing, has his head on straight, and his parents, interestingly enough, who live in Titusville, Florida, literally follow him around the NFL and see every game that he plays. They did that in college.
Tullis and Roaches dropping back deep. And a look at what's upcoming. An NFL 81 doubleheader next Sunday. It starts, of course, with the pregame show with Bryant Gumbel at 12:30 Eastern Time. And among the matchups, Oakland against Houston, Miami against New England. Those are early games. And a look at the lineup of late contests, which will begin at 4 o'clock Eastern Time next week on NBC. And the ball bounces to Tim Wilson. And Wilson is knocked down as he comes across the 30-yard line. Again, Breach trying to avoid Roaches and Tullis with a relatively short kick.
And, Bob, I got to tell you, I believe the inability of the Houston Oilers return teams to get any real yardage has been a big psychological factor in this first half. That is one thing that they rely on, and rely on heavily, those return teams.
You know, historically, the Oilers have had excellent, explosive return men. Go all the way back to the early 60s. Guys like Ken Hall and Bobby Jancic, Zeke Moore, more recently White Shoes Johnson, and now Tullis and Roaches. And
these guys are both guys that Tullis was drafted as a college quarterback out of Troy State. Roaches was a free agent.
Stabler's floater falls incomplete. Mike Holston was in the general vicinity.
Ross Browner, I believe, with a little pressure on Stabler. I might mention it is generally agreed in Houston that the Oilers are not a good team coming back from being down 21-7.
Because they rely obviously so heavily on
Exactly.
Campbell, and they run that I offense, which is not geared toward making up points in a hurry.
Exactly, and when they do go to the pass, they have to take their best weapon, which is Earl Campbell, out of the ballgame as they are now, and put Adger Armstrong in.
Why don't they throw the ball to Campbell more?
Well, he's got decent hands.
Stabler manages to get rid of it as he is nearly decapitated by Gary Burley and Eddie Edwards.
You asked me about Campbell as a pass receiver. He can catch the football. I do not believe he runs. We've got a penalty against Houston, too. But to continue, I do not believe he runs very good patterns. I mean, he's just not a pattern runner. He comes out of Texas where they gave him the ball 9 yards deep, and he carried it 1,000,000 times a year. And he just does not know that much about receiving. Catching the ball is only half of it. Getting open is the other half.
It'll be interesting to see the halftime penalty yardage. I'm sure it's weighted tremendously against Houston.
Coming into this game, they were not a very much penalized team either. They usually avoided that sort of thing.
Dick Jorgensen will now step it off. We're down to 29 seconds to play until halftime.
Holding, number 76, offense, still second down.
Morris Towns, the fifth-year man out of Missouri, was holding. Well, I was wrong. It's dead even.
Well, we asked the question. We get the answer from our people in the truck. Interesting that the Oilers have lost their last 2 football games. And through 2.5 football games now, they've allowed 85 points.
Second and 20 at the 22. The Oilers have all 3 of their timeouts left.
Draw.
Give it to Adger Armstrong on the shotgun draw. And Armstrong bangs out near the 35. And they call a timeout with 21 seconds left. Let us consider the range of Tony Frisch. He is 1 of 1 from beyond 50 yards this year. He is 6 of 9 between 40 and 49. There he is. He is the most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history. Among those who have hit 100 or more three-pointers, he has made about 69%. Ranking 2 and 3, a pair of other active kickers, John Smith of New England and Efren Herrera.
You would think that Tony would get some tailor-made pants there, would you not? Make him look a little more in keeping with the modern-day football player, wearing a pair of football pants that are about 12 sizes too small.
Tony going at 5'7" and a none too svelte 203. 36 years of age, in his 10th year in the NFL. Didn't play any college football. As a matter of fact, played 8 years of professional soccer in his native Austria. He was born in Vienna.
Interesting, too, I believe. If you want to sit down and talk with Tony Frisch, you can do it in Austrian, German, French, and English.
Again, the importance of this ball game and the 21-7 Bengal lead. Right now, they're tied with Pittsburgh for first place in the AFC Central. Pittsburgh playing San Francisco today, and that is not as easy as it used to be. The 49ers are plenty tough. Cleveland at last report losing 13-0 at Buffalo. So the Bengals could really make this a red-letter day if everything falls in place for them. In the second quarter, we're told no score. Intercepted. Intercepted by the Bengals. And they're going to have a chance to get breach on the field for a field goal attempt. Reggie Williams, number 57, I believe, was the guy who picked it off.
Now, not only was that intercepted, there was no Houston receiver within about 6 yards of this pass. Watch Ken Stabler. He's pressured somewhat and steps up. There's nobody around. Reggie Williams, the only guy out there. Look at that. The closest receiver is Dave Casper, 5 yards away.
Reggie Williams, his first interception of the day, and the second for the Bengals, his first interception of the year. The second for the Bengals in this first half, and just the 6th for them this season.
Very poor choice, obviously, by Ken Stabler there, throwing his, if I'm not mistaken, where the interceptions. That's his 12th interception on the season, second today.
I started a note before the interception as you look at Jim Breach, who likely will come on shortly, that Pittsburgh and San Francisco are scoreless in the second quarter at last report. 12 seconds to go. Anderson trying to get it closer for Breach. Juggled by Johnson. And Ted Washington was in position momentarily to make an interception of his own. 6 seconds left. We're told that the 49ers have just scored to go in front of the Steelers 7-zip. They're in the second quarter at Pittsburgh. They're going to bring Breach on, and this will be about a 50-yard attempt for him. At this distance, well, he hasn't tried one of 50 or more this year. Between 40 and 49, he's 3 of 6. Overall, he's 11 of 17.
The ball is bouncing Cincinnati's way this season or this day so far. Would you be surprised if instead of a field goal attempt, they try something tricky here? I mean, why not? I'm not sure that, what did you say the distance would be?
50.
50 yards. I'm not sure that that's a real makeable field goal by Jim Breach. It might be blocked. They could pick it up. Why wouldn't you try to throw it?
I'll tell you why I wouldn't, Trump. I might if I was looking for a first down to keep the drive alive. But the only way that they'd get anything worthwhile out of a fake would be if they took it all the way in for the touchdown, and the holder is going to be kneeling at the 40-yard line.
Okay, well, but Houston, I believe, is going to have 11 guys up on the line of scrimmage trying to block it. If he does kick it, it'll be a low trajectory kick. The odds against it going in, I would say, are slight.
All right, let me ask you this. You've got 6 seconds left and a couple of timeouts. Why not try another sideline pattern, hope to get out of bounds and call a timeout in 5 seconds, get Breach a little closer, then kick it with 1 or 2 seconds?
I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor of that. That's the distance.
Had
more than a 9-iron.
Had Pete Johnson latched on to the last pass, Breach would have a far more reasonable attempt to look at. Now with Kreider kneeling at the 41, it's a 51-yard attempt for Jim Breach. They kick it. It's good!
Well, so much for our discussion. And I sold Mr. Breach short, and I apologize for that.
The sellout crowd at Riverfront goes berserk. Their Bengals, after falling behind 7-0, absolutely owned this first half, especially the closing 2 minutes. The Oilers, trailing just 14-7, were driving. The Bengals stopped them, got a touchdown, got another interception, and a 51-yard field goal by Jim Breach to take a 24-7 lead into the locker room.
I think it's an understatement to say he nailed that one, hit it right in the fat part of the football.
Compare dandruff shampoos. There's good, there's better, and then there's Blue. Selsun Blue, the best dandruff shampoo money can buy. Clinical testing proved it works best, with more complete dandruff control than any leading shampoo. Only Selsun Blue has the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors prescribe most. Remember, there's good, there's better, and there's Blue. Selsun Blue. It simply works the best.
New Backwoods Smokes just hit town. Looking wild, but tasting mild.
New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild? New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
New Backwoods Smokes. All natural tobacco, hand-rolled look in a keep 'em fresh pocket pouch.
How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
Rutherford is in trouble. He's sliding. He's against the fence. The car flips upside down.
Now, 1 year later, they're still talking about it. Be there next Saturday when Johnny Rutherford, Bobby Unser, Mario Andretti, and Gordon Johncock return to Phoenix for the high-speed thrills of the Kart Phoenix 150. Plus, the beauty and intensity of the World Invitational Pairs Bodybuilding Championship. Then next Sunday, our continuing coverage of hard-hitting NFL football. What a weekend on NBC Sports.
We return to Riverfront Stadium, where right now there are better than 60,000 very, very happy people taking a breather at halftime. The Bengals up 24-7, Trump, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Oilers can regroup. Psychologically, the last 2 minutes of that first half were just murder for them.
You're right. What Cincinnati, I believe, has done is taken Houston's biggest weapon out of their offense, and that's Earl Campbell. First quarter, he was a big factor, but once they got behind, they had to go to the shotgun. They had to take Campbell out, put Edger Armstrong in. You are now playing great football if you're a Cincinnati football team and a Cincinnati football fan. On the other side of the coin, Eddie Biles has got to be more upset with his defense than he does his offense. They've just, the Bengals have gone up and down the field against that defense, and it's been a problem for him the last several weeks.
We had mentioned earlier that interceptions had not been a big part of Bengals' success this year, but they got a couple of interceptions late in that first half to shut off Houston drives and lead to drives of their own. And NFL 81 halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.